I got the email I sent yesterday. So midterm, you should have already received your grades. If you have any concerns, any questions, let me know. So I would like to make some suggestions based on my observations for the midterm. So midterm has 5 questions. The first question is creating a package. I expect that you'll be able to do that. We have assignments before, and we also create a package the second time, I think for lab 4, right? And I also told you before the midterm that I'm going to ask you to create a new package. So you have done this at least 3 times. You should be able to do that. So if you couldn't figure it out, you need to practice after class. And I can walk through that with you together. And as I show you in class, it should take you no more than 5 minutes. It's just an empty package. It's nothing fancy, no other functionality in there. So make sure that you do that one more time if you're really having trouble. But by now, you should have at least 3 packages under your account on PyPI. Okay. And for other questions, I'm not going to go through all of them today. I posted the sample solutions, so make sure that you copy the code, run that, and see if you can understand that. So questions are pretty much similar to lab 5 about the looping, reading the files. I've noticed something. So most of you did pretty well in the lab assignments, but some of you were not able to figure out during the midterm, the questions on midterm. It's all open book. You can Google online. You can copy the sample code from the lab assignments or from online. It's fine as long as I can figure it out. So I'd like to make some suggestions. So if you have any concerns or issues with the lab assignment or the quizzes, talk to me. Okay, I'm here to help. I'm trying to figure out, because most of you really ask questions. I'm fine as long as you're doing well and you know how to solve the problem, you have to figure things out. Perfectly fine. You don't have to ask questions. But if you're struggling, you could not understand a certain part, come talk to me, send email to the group, or Google online, as long as you can figure it out. So if you're not doing well, you never ask any questions, and you keep not doing well in the final, then it's going to be hurt your grade. Okay, I want all of you to do well, get a good grade. I rarely fail any students unless the student doesn't want to do any work. I can only do so much. So I will try to reach out, but I'm hoping that you are more proactive. If you have any concerns, talk to me. Don't wait until the last minute. If you wait until the end of the semester, there's not much I can do. If you get 0 in the midterm, get 0 in the final, you're going to fail. And it's not fun. So I'm here to help. Utilize what you can get. Questions? And also the other one, try to ask yourself, how much time do you practice after class? If you practice less than like 10 minutes, then you probably need to spend more time. Okay, as I said, this is a 3 credits class, right? The lectures are like 3 hours. You are supposed to spend 9 hours after class, including lab assignment, practicing other stuff. If you spend way less than that, then probably it's your problem. Unless you're already very good at that, you know what to do. But if your midterm is not great, try to spend more time. You need to have a good time management. At least you should spend maybe another 3 or 4 hours after class practicing, reading, understanding. If this not, then practice more and talk to me. I always have more resources for you to learn. If you want to, come to me for more resources. But I want you at least have some minimum efforts, right, to do well, to pass this course, and practice, and ask questions. This is how you want to do well. Okay, I hope you learn some lessons from the midterm. The final exam will be pretty much similar. So I hope that you can utilize resources to solve the things, find a solution, and as long as you can figure it out, make it work, that's fine. We are not trying to create something groundbreaking, so it's nothing fancy. And everything that we do on the exam, it should be something that we have done in the lab assignment. It's not totally new. There might be a couple tiny stuff that's new, but I would expect that you to be able to find it online and to figure things out. Questions? Again, it's okay, midterm not doing well, but try not to try to do your best for the midterm and the final projects. That's where at least you can still make things up. Otherwise, if you don't make efforts, then you will get what you get. Okay. Questions? So I'm not going to go into those solutions. I suggest you copy the code if you cannot understand, and then run through the code and then do the debugging. Okay. So today we're just going to go through the package, how to add things to your package. Okay. So far we've been creating packages. We have some basics. Now you should be ready. If you're not ready, spend a little bit more time after class practicing. Okay. And so basically we have built the foundation. We have the package ready. We already published, but right now it's nothing. It cannot really do anything. So just like the foundation of your house, there's no bedroom, there's no kitchen, there's nothing in there yet. And today I'm gonna go through the steps how you can build things on top of that. And we are not going to add a lot of complicated stuff, but you will know the steps how you can develop a package. And this is the things that I do daily, maybe hourly, right? I'm doing coding when I'm not like doing other stuff. So it's very practical steps, and once you get to know that, you can repeat doing the same. So you can try to add new stuff into that. So I'm going to build on top of the package that we created before. You already have one of package. So for me, I'm going to use the one Geo demo. So I'm going to use GOS demo. Okay. So I believe I should already have this one on my local computer. So I'm just going to open using you see here, using VS Code. And I'm going to show you the step that usually what kind of things you should consider. What's the workflow of adding something, just like you're building a brand new stuff, and what will be the next step to actually add things to it. So I'm going to close all my previous files. Try to follow me if you can. So I'm going to walk a little bit slow so that you can basically, you are going to repeat doing this many times throughout the remaining of the semester, because just like you're creating an empty package, now you're going to repeat it every week. We're going to add something to the package. So the steps, the procedure will be the same. So you just need to know a couple key steps, and then you can start writing code. So here, once I open this one in Visual Studio Code, your package right now should be pretty simple. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, can you see a little bit better? So this is on the left side here, and there are a couple of files that you always need to manage. Okay, so the first one here is the requirements.txt. Right now, if I double click on the right here, it's empty, nothing there. So this is a critical file. We are building on top of something else. So if you're trying to build a package, if you want to utilize some existing packages, you will need to list it here. But always be cautious. Don't list too many in here, because not all the packages work across platform. Just like ArcGIS only work on Windows, it doesn't work on Mac computer. The package you are building, you should make sure that it at least works across platform. So if some packages are only available on a certain platform, then you have to be careful about that. And also some packages are very difficult to install. You will encounter that later on. For now, we're just doing the simple stuff because we're just using the Python built-in stuff. But later on, we're going to be more and more reading vector data, raster data. You're not starting from scratch. So you're building something on top of that. Just like you're building a house, you're not like building the materials, like trying to construct those bricks or the timber. You are going to buy from somewhere else. And those things, you need to know like which one would be good for your package. And this should be minimal. If you, for example, if you go, let's say if I go to maybe DivMat, right? So those that's the first file you need to look into. So requirements.txt, you see here it lists a bunch of files. Okay, so this is basically the required dependencies for your package, and we'll show you later how actually you add to that. For now, I'm just going to show you like what it looks like. So you see here, you're going to see the name. You're also going to see the version number. You can control the version number if you want, because sometimes if you don't have this, when people are installing the package, it's going to retrieve the latest version. And if your package, sometimes the latest version will break some of the stuff, so that you need to put a string in that we talk about more later. So this is the requirement, but you can have some optional, for example, the development dependency. This gets a whole lot longer. And if the package that it might be challenging to install on other platforms, you probably need to think twice before add to the require. But you can make optional, right? Just like this class. It's very hard, okay? It's not a required class for the GS major, but you can tag it if you want, right? So this is more like optional. Okay, so that's the first file, require.txt. This one you always need to pay attention. So if you want to learn, for example, a new package, and you want to see like what is this built on, you look at this file. You will know that it's actually building on top of other people's work. So this is the first one. And then the second one will be here, under your package name. So mine is GEOS-demo. Yours will be whatever name that you choose. And you're going to see about just right now, just two files. The underscore init underscore py. So this one is a special file in Python programming. Basically, it's going to treat your whatever within this folder as a package, as a module. Okay, but you can create a subdirectory in that, and then as long as the directory has underscore init, that one is going to treat it as a module. Right now, we don't get to a lot complicated than that. We're just going to create new module, so you can just create .py files under your package name. So this is extension when you do import something, import, for example, OS, import pandas, import leaf map. So everything that importing, you are importing all the files from here. But you can, if you have a subfolder in there, it's going to from somewhere in leaf map doc something, you can import something else. Again, don't worry too much right now, but this I want to show you like most of the time you'll be modifying the files within here. That's it. So within your package, because we're trying to add something to that. Right now, this is, for example, this is the foundation. You can add another file called kitchen.py. You can add another one called living room.py. So basically, you're going to have different modules. Of course, you can put all the stuff in just one file. That's fine as well. But usually, it's better to be organized, right? You're going to see like different functions. You're going to have. Also, you don't want the file to be too big. So again, I'm going to use the example of the leaf map. So if you go to the leaf map website, right? Most other files are pretty much just from the template. But if you go into here, right? So this is where you're going to see all the modules. So you need to think about how you want to organize your package into different functionality. Just like you have a house, you have the living room, you have the kitchen, you have the bathroom, you have all kind of different functionality. So each one try to organize in one file, especially when it grows really complicated, right? So for example, and then there will be a main one. For example, the main package name usually will be the same as your package name. So for example, leaf map is the directory. I also have the leaf map.py in here, just like this one, GEOS-demo, and there's also another GEOS-demo.py within there. Your package should have the same kind of structure, but you can add more, right? So if you come back to here, I have Folium, I have leaf map, I have others. So if you click in leaf map, this is where you see the source code for the main one. And I will say, for example, this is how I build the foundation. And you can look at the source code if you want. Most of them are pretty much just a class. So for example here, this is the map class. We'll talk about this today's Tuesday, right? On Thursday. So we're going to talk about this on Thursday. But it's a class, you will see init function, and then you can have all kind of functions. So it's basically just a building block. And this is how you build a package on top of others. Inherit some functionality so that you don't have to build things from scratch. And you see, have a function, you have the documentation, and then you have the source code. Some might be pretty simple, couple lines of code. Some might be a little bit more complicated. So for today, we're just going to add some simple one, but the steps, the kind of the procedure will be the same. Okay. So this is another file that we're going to do it in here. And for the init, this one usually you don't have to modify. Usually this one should be pretty minimal. So the init basically means some of the things you want to do after people import your library. You can do some initialization within there, but most of the time you'll be working outside this one. But certainly this is, if you want to, so I can show you again. If I go to leaf map, just to show you what's in there. Usually it should be pretty minimal. There should not be too much things in there. So if I click here, you see only a couple lines. So basically, you can set some conditionals how you want to initialize your package if needed. But you can do all the things within the module outside. For example, within each module, you can also initialize stuff. But just like you have different modules, but all the modules might be doing the same thing every time when you import it. Then you put into the init.py. If something is unique to each one, then you do it individually in as package. So there's no strict requirement what you need to do, but it's more like flexible how you want to organize. Okay, and within there you can have more data, you can have different folders. You can get quite complicated on that, but for us, we're just going to do some very simple stuff. So again, just open this one here, and so next, let's start doing coding. So I would like to have some really simple code examples so that you can get an idea how we do the developing, like the daily routine, right? When you're trying to add something, right? So for today, we're just going to add some functions. On Thursday, we're going to add some classes. Class, for example, create internet map. So for this one here, I'm just going to add simple function, for example, how to generate a random string with a specified number of lengths, right? So for example, give me a random string with the length of 6, like 6 random characters, A, B, C, D, whatever. Can you do that? Right, A, B, C, D, E, F, okay? Or H, I, J, K, E, whatever, right? Or give me a random string of 10 characters. Just like the same thing, right? Do you use any, do any of you use like password manager? How do the password manager generate the random password, right? I'm sure you use some random password like generated by the password manager, right? Can you do that in Python by yourself? Same thing, right? You specify how many you want. Do you want any special character? Do you want numbers? Do you want uppercase? Do you want lowercase? Something like that. You can do exactly the same thing here. So, and right now I know what I want, but I don't know where to start, okay? How should we do that? We're going to add a function, okay? But nowadays, there are a lot of tools you can utilize. So I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to help me find some of those answers. Just some code snippet that we can start with, okay? So try your best to, utilize the free tools. I'm just going to use ChatGPT. Where is it? Open ChatGPT. How do I log in? I forgot. Maybe this one here. I have a shortcut, but it's not on this computer. ChatGPT login. Okay, so just ask Google ChatGPT login. I'm just going to find a code snippet. Of course, you can just Google online, but ChatGPT is a lot more direct, so I can just. Oh, it's down right now. Interesting. Or maybe try eu.com. I think this one also has some. Or you can try Bing. I forgot which one, whatever. But there's one uchat. Okay. And just going to ask him, write a Python function for generating a random string with a specified number of lengths. Okay, I'm not sure if you can get it the answer, but you are welcome to Google. There's a lot of code snippets online, but oh, this is annoying. Anyway, and this is what it gives to us. If you already know how to do the coding, that's fine. But do I need to like type again? Yeah, it's not a good time, so it works fine earlier, but not right now. So write a Python function for generating a random string with All the source engines kind of use the same like ChatGPT, but it's pretty similar. Done, right? It gave me the snippets. Good. In your exam, you should be able to use some of this same stuff. Don't submit empty assignments. It's no good. Okay. So here, look at this one. Pretty nice, right? Generate random string length, and then it's going to use the string and the random module. So those are the built-in. It's not like external. So and then you see here join random choice the letters, and then in, and then the range, like whatever, depending on what you want, and then it's going to join the list, return a string, and you see here. Okay, sounds good. Just simply just copy, that's it, and then come back to here. Nice. Okay, and Control S. But this is done. You are adding a function to the package. That's it. So next, let's see how we can test it. For example, before you can read this to someone else, you need to make sure that you can test your package. So for now, we're just going to create a simple example that we're going to test the functions. So here on the left side, you're going to see the directory. So I would recommend that you create maybe an examples folder. So you're going to have a bunch of examples within your package, kind of similar to the leaf map. So if you go to the leaf map here, the root directory, you see here I have an examples folder. Within the example, I have notebooks, I have workshop, I have a whole bunch of others. So if you see notebook, I have over 70 notebooks in there. So because right now we are just building a basic one, so we don't need a subfolder. Where I'm just going to create an examples directory. So I'm going to right click, new folders, examples. Okay, so here I can right click, and then I can create a new notebook. So of course you can just do the debugging using the scripting, but it's better to use notebook because it's more interactive. So I'm just create a new one. So I can see here, new file, and you can choose whatever name you like. For example, it says just say intro.ipynb. Okay, so now we have this new notebooks. Okay, before I show you how you can do the testing, call the function. For now, I just going to simple copy and paste the function that I copied from the UChat examples, and then Alt Enter. You need to run it. So I need to select the kernel, whatever kernel you created on your computer. It should be a couple seconds. Then so we import the library, we generate the function, then we can test it. Okay, so over here it's done. You see the green check marks here. Can you see the green check mark? And now you just simply call the function. So generate random string, parentheses. Within there, you just write the number of strings you like. So maybe just press 6, Alt Enter. See that? Nice, right? And maybe 16, right? If you have a good memory, you want to like use this as password, 16. How cool is that? Now you can go online to create a package for generating password for people. I mean, there should be a package already done that, but I'm just saying that the package manager that you're using is behind the scenes is doing the same stuff. And this is all lowercase, right? I can add like lowercase, uppercase if you want. So think about here, what should we be doing if we're going to use uppercase? Just look at the code, right? Most of the things you can just guess, you'll be able to figure out. So here, the strings.ascii lowercase is just those 26 lowercase numbers, and it's basically a list. So if you want to figure out, for example, what is this, I can just simply copy this one, and then come here, paste, take a look. Right, it's just a string with those 26 characters. And so when the function this one is running, is each time picking one character from one of these 26, and then join them all together as a random string. So here I can just string to lowercase and then plus string to uppercase. You see, I don't even have to write. GitHub Copilot is pretty intelligent. So okay, and then hit tab, all done. And now if you see, I join a random string. It has all uppercase, it has lowercase, right? I can probably also have numbers. If I press space again, okay, how nice, like I don't have to remember. Right? And then this one run again. Now you have numbers, you have uppercase, you have lowercase, right? You can, I'm not sure if you can recognize those special characters. This plus again, oh nice. Punctuation, okay? Even better. Oh, now this is the password manager. Exactly what the password manager is doing. So think about here, when you're taking the options, right? What is that? The options like check, oh, I want the punctuation, I want the uppercase, I want the lowercase, I want blah blah, right? This function you can do the same thing. So you can allow the user to decide what you want, right? For now, it's just one parameter, just the length. But you can add another 3 options. Do you want uppercase or lowercase? Or you can have a different combination of those, right? So this is how you can do the coding. Again, go online, find some code examples. And then, how many of you have activated the Google Copilot? Just 1, 2, right? It's free. Just Google online, Google Copilot free for students, and then sign up. And then after that, all you need is just to install the extensions in here. Just check, I think, GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot. Once you install, then you should be able to use that. So it's pretty useful, especially for beginners. But you have to understand the code, okay? Don't just accept everything. It's going to cause some disaster, okay? If you know what you're doing, it's a perfect tool that can help you increase your productivity, okay? So as you can see here, now I have the function work pretty nicely. I can add a little bit more stuff. So here I can say add a function, and you see how nice. I don't even have to write. It's gonna guess exactly what I'm doing, right? Do you want to use uppercase? Do you want to use digit? Do you use the punctuation, right? But I already did that. So what I need to do basically, let me zoom out a little bit. So I can just hit enter. Letters equal to lowercase, and then if upper, okay, how nice. Take a look. If digit, letter equals digit. If punctuation, it gets punctuation, and then this one is probably not needed anymore. Make sense? See here, right? So the beginning we're gonna start with lowercase, and then if you choose, the user choose, you're going to add upper, you're going to add those uppercase strings into that, and then so let me show you here at the end, like what it looks like. Maybe I can say print out all the letters here. So try to have an understanding what this one is actually doing. So by default, it's going to use the 26 lowercase, and if I call the function and say upper, it's going to add those upper 26 uppercase, or add a digit, add the letters, and then I'm going to print out those options, like total options that you have, depends on your selection. Then it's going to randomly select. So the random dot choice, basically give me a string or a list, I'm going to randomly pick one, okay? So depending on what you have, I'm going to randomly pick one, and it's going to be a list. Random pick one for I in range, so for 6, right? I'm going to pick 6 characters, and then because it's a list, I'm going to use here empty single quotes and dot. That means I'm going to join the strings, join all the items as one, and then I'm going to return the string, okay? So now this is the improve function, works perfectly. Now we can test it, okay? So I'm going to say generate random string, and you see by default, they say I'm going to generate 10 random characters. I'm going to use all of those options and take a look. See, so what does this is really doing? I'm generating a random string, and this is all the options available. And because I'm selecting 10, it's going to randomly pick 10 characters from those, return a string, right? So if I change one of those, for example, I don't need the punctuation, just like using the password manager, uncheck the punctuation. So this should be false. Run this one again, pay attention. You see, right now the options doesn't have that anymore. Make sense? And similarly, I can turn off the digits. If you just want lowercase, uppercase, now it becomes shorter. So the first line is all the options. The second one is what's randomly generated, right? So even the last one here, you'll be false. See? How nice. All right, so now we have a function that's working properly. And this is essentially how those password manager is utilizing. It's random. They might not use Python, they might use other language, but essentially the same thing. Okay, so this one right now it works perfectly. Okay, test it. I'm gonna copy this one, come back to here, replace this, and I think we are 50% done with acting functionality. Okay, and with that, so the next step I'm going to show you how you can actually test it, because earlier we use a notebook, everything works perfectly, but how can I actually call the function? How can I actually call my package? Because right now, if you I'm not sure if I have installed the package or not, so let me open this one here, open the terminal or whatever you like. I'm going to check, because my package is called GeoSdemo. You need to install this one to your environment so they can test it. Right now, it might not have been installed yet. So I'm just going to check my Conda environment. Conda activate GeoS, okay, and then just pip list to see if your package has been listed or not. So I'm going to go back to here to find the GeoSdemo. It's actually already there, GeoSdemo. So this one probably we installed in the past using pip install GeoSdemo. I can install again if you want. So install GeoSdemo. It says requirement already satisfied. So the next step is very critical. Okay, make sure you pay attention, because the package use pip install GeoSdemo is pulling the package from the PyPI website. And what we are doing here, the function that we added is not pushed to PyPI yet. You have not released a new version. So this you can think about the function you are running on your local computer. Your package has no idea that you have added new stuff into it. So I can show you like what do I mean. So I go back to this one here, and I can add a new code block, right? I can just import GeoSdemo. You can see the Jupyter notebook should be able to figure it out. But if you hit Alt Enter and then GeoSdemo dot, if the function is available, you should be able to find it from the list in here. Can you see the function that we added here earlier from the list? Is there? No. Okay, because the package installed to this Conda environment is the old one from the you pull from the PyPI. It's not there yet. So this is where you do the local development. You need to make sure that you are installing the package that we are working on so that you can test the function. Okay, so this is what you can do. I can open this one here, whatever you want. So you're going to get into this directory. So I'm going to right click, open in terminal. Okay, or you can use Anaconda prompt, whatever. So the next step, I'm going to actually install the package that you are working on into the Conda environment. Make sense? No, because we are trying to override the one from the internet, because that one doesn't have the function we have in here. So open this one and just Conda activate GeoS. Okay, so I'm going to get into this Conda environment. So how you can install? Earlier we used pip install and then the name of the package. Don't do this, it's not going to work. So if you want to test a package, you use this way, pip install period. So once you're inside the package directory, if you use the dot, that means it's going to use the file from your package. Don't run enter yet. Okay, it's not done yet. If you hit enter, it's just going to install a copy of this. All the functions that you added earlier, it works. So right now, for example, here, if I hit enter, okay, it's going to build the package and it's going to install. You might see the file here, something like geodemos.egg, whatever. You don't have to worry about that. But right now, we are actually installing the local version. Okay, so then I can come back to here. You need to restart the kernel. When you install new package, you need to restart the kernel, because earlier when you import, it's already there. So you need to restart the kernel, clear the output. Now run this one again, import GeoSdemo. Okay, and then just type GeoSdemo dot. sometimes you might need to close. It might still be cache in there. So it's actually not. So I know what this is doing. So here, let me try again. Import GOS demo or whatever name that you choose for your package, right? And then if you try to write, you see it's intelligent, but this is not going to work, I think. Okay, the reason for that because it says GOS demo has no attribute. GOS generate random string, right? So if you go here, press dot. This is annoying. Dot, and you see it's not listing. But if I say from GOS demo dot GOS demo import random string, you see this one works fine, right? What does this really mean? So as I mentioned earlier, it's very important you understand the logic. The name here, when you import something, it's just going to import things from here, from this init. It doesn't go directly to other repo, other module. So if there's nothing in here, you won't be able to see anything. Okay. So the reason that we from GOS demo dot GOS demo, because the function is in here. So now you actually can see it. So if I come back to here and I just call the function, right, and 16, whatever number you like. See? And how about this? Right now, there's something wrong, right? If you try to publish this one, the user not supposed to see this one, right? We should remove that. So if you want to come back to here, GeoEstimate, we should remove this one because this is just for earlier for testing. It should not appear in there. Okay. So if I run this one and then right now, take a look. I already did that one, right? I restart. I run this one. You don't need to import GOS demo. You can just from GOS demo import this one and then run this one. Oh, it's still there. Why? I already did it. It's not supposed to see. You're not supposed to see this one. And this is something that you need to understand, right? Earlier we install local copy. It's still one time. Once you install, it's going to use whatever you install. But I'm writing the package, I'm adding function all the time. I don't want to like install every time after I finish adding something. I want to install all the time. It's very inconvenient. So one shortcut you can use, let me go back to here, right? Just like what we did earlier, pip install dot. And this time we're going to add an option to that. So okay, pay attention. This one is what you need to do for your package. Otherwise, it's going to cause you a lot of trouble and time. So pip install dash e space period. So this one is what you're going to use for all your development later on. So basically, I'm developing something, I'm adding something, and when I'm testing, I want you to use my latest version. So dash e means editable. That means it will be able to retrieve what you edit, and then you don't have to pip install every time. Okay, so pip install dash e period. Hit enter. It probably will be the same. It's pretty much the same procedure, but this is only one time only. I don't have to do that ever again for my package. So take a look at this one. It's all done. Now let's come back to here, restart, clear the output, run this one, boom, it's gone, right? Then I can add more functions. For example, here, right now, this function, think about here. If I don't provide a length, it's going to throw an error, right? How about this? I want to modify the function, and then I want to have a default length. For example, the default password length may be, let's say, 10 characters, okay? If the user don't specify, I'm going to assume that it's 10 characters. So I can go back to my functions in here, okay? And very simple, right? I'm just going to put a string by default equal to 10, so the user don't have to specify, okay? And now take a look, Control S. Okay, come back to the notebook. Again, you have to restart the kernel, otherwise it won't work. So I'm going to restart the kernel, clear the output, and then run this one. And now if I run this one, you see, works, right? I don't need to specify again. So you see, I make changes. In the notebook, I test it, but you do have to restart the kernel because when it's importing, it's already importing the package into the namespace. So if you don't restart the kernel, it will still be the old one. So now you can continue to add more functions. You can add all kind of stuff. You can add a new one if you like. So you can add a new function. It will be available later in here. So next, I'm going to show you how you can actually simplify because when the user need to type this, it's pretty tedious, right? From GeoSDemo.geosDemo, right? If your package name is very long, from blah blah dot blah blah blah, it's not convenient. So this is also very common that if you have a default one that you want the user to use, I can import the stuff into the underscore init.py. So this is a file that by default, assume that you might have 10 modules, but you can have a default module that you want the user to use. Then you can just import all the stuff from your package to this one. So what you can do usually here will be like from, you see, it's so intelligent. I don't have to actually type that, right? From .geosDemo import star means import everything. So by default, when user use import GeoSDemo, it's going to import all the functions that I have in here. So in that way, user can just GeoSDemo dot something without have to GeoSDemo dot GeoSDemo dot, right? It's basically a shortcut, so makes it easier. Okay, so it's gone. So from done. This is done. So this is a line. So assume later you want to have another package, another module, you can do the same thing. But the idea is that you want to minimize because if you have different module, they have the same function. If you put them all here, you want to have the conflict. So you need to make sure that you don't have same name function names in different modules and then try to put them all the stuff. Otherwise, you want to mess up. Yes? Oh, it's your name. It's not your name should not be the same as mine. What's the file name of your package? Yeah. So it should be the same as whatever. Don't use that one. Probably the Geo demo is already I used it last year. So you will have to have your package name. So make sure your package name is unique. The package should be the one that you publish on PyPI. So whatever name of your folder, you want to by default, you're going to have the same one. So right now, you see I can import. And okay, once I have that, come back to notebook, restart the kernel. And now you can see the magic, what this is mean. Okay, so now I can just use import GeoSDemo, right? And you can just type GeoSDemo dot. Oops, it's not coming up. GeoSDemo dot. See here? Do you see that from the list? That means right now the user import a GeoSDemo. By default, it's going to import all the functions from this module because you can again. I'm going to highlight again. Whenever you import something for a package, it's going to run the code within this file, nothing else. Unless your file within this one you try to import other stuff, then you import into that. So if you have 10 modules in here, it doesn't import all the time unless you import in here. So the reason that right now we can see this popping up because when we use the import GeoSDemo, it's actually importing all the files from here. Essentially, it's just like copying all the text and then dump it here, just like that. So now you can see the list is under here. Now we can call the function like this. You see, I have this, and I can have maybe 16, 19, or even 0. I'm not sure if we can do 0. Yeah, it's empty. All right, or 6. Understand? Pretty simple, right? So that's the step you need to do. Have your package, and then right now just edit this module, and then add this line in your init.py. Then you can importing. Yes? Question, Hannah?
Yeah, I'm just getting the map route that my package isn't defined. So I restarted the kernel.
What do you mean package to define? So do you work from your package repo? You need to work in a repo. So and then you should have a name. Do you have see the package name? Another package here.
Yeah.
So what error are you having right now?
So when I try to do it in my like practice, intro,
The notebook?
yeah,
So
it's not when I do the MATLAB dot and then I pull up my function.
so have you installed a package here? Pip still. Let me take a look quickly.
I wonder if I can use.
Yeah, practice. Make sure you can get this part. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to place the package. So this is the critical step that you need to use here. Do you have it in here? Oh, you need in here. Yeah, just type import map. Import map and then run it. Then training code block. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can go now. You can run this one. Random string, that means your function. Oh, you need to save it. It will be not saved here. This one here is control S, and then go back. Now you also need to save it in .py. Control S, and then we start the tunnel. Clear all your output. Run again. Import again. Import first. It's better to see work now. Yeah, so make sure that after you edit the file, Control S, okay, save the file, because if you're editing, if the function not saved to your script yet, you're not going to be able to use that. Okay, so always use the shortcut, just Control S. Questions? Any issues? Okay, this is the same step, same procedure you're going to do every time. So essentially, you have the empty package, pip install -e period install into your contact environment. Then you can start doing developing and then doing the testing. So I'm going to add function to your modules and make sure that if you want to use a shortcut, you can just import all the functions. Right now, because we only have one functions, so basically it's going to import the name into this. This is so-called the namespace. It's just like copying all the text and then dump it in the .py here, because this is essentially when you do import whatever name that you're developing, it's going to import all the stuff into there. And once you have that, I can continue to add more functions. I can add other stuff. You can read a file. You can generate anything. So here I can continue. You can write another function. So usually within the modules, function will be separated by 2 lines. So I can have another one, def. I have to think about what I want. It's random. Oh, give me a lucky number, right? Same thing in here. Generate a random string. A lucky number, like how many digits do you want, for example? You can do the same thing just like the generate a random string. So here, I can say generate. Probably the GitHub Copilot we're going to be able to help me out. So lucky. Let me see here. Lucky numbers. Oh, return 7. I don't want 7. I want something to be random. Also, you tell me what is it? Tell me how many digits do you want. I'm going to give you a random, just a random number. Okay, so I can do the same thing in here, just like exactly like this one. So I can do length, for example, ts equal to maybe just 1. Okay, and then I can do the same thing just like what we learned above, right? I'm going to use a random number. Oh, it's already done. Perfect. I don't even have to think about it. Control S. Beautiful. What does this mean? Okay, random choice. I'm going to get all the digits. Randomly pick one. Depends on how many you want, and then going to join all together. And it's going to return that, and it's going to convert it to an integer. Perfect, right? This is going to save you tons of time, right? GitHub Copilot it's going to increase your productivity by 80%. You don't have to memorize. You can make changes, but you need to understand. Yes.
So every time I want a new function, do you need to make a separate intro,
Yes.
like practice thing?
No, you don't have to. You can do the same. You can just within the same notebook, right? So here, right now, I generate this one. Perfect. Now I can test it. But again, you need to restart the kernel, and you need to clear the output. So now I can do the same thing. Import GOS demo, right? Now I can test my lucky number. So GOS demo dot, it should pop up now. See that? Generate random lucky number. Press this one, and then so for example, 3 digits. Boom. Right, 627. I want like 30 digits. Okay. Whatever you want. 1 digit. 0. Every time should be different, right? I will run again. You should get a different result. Maybe have 3 digits. So this is why it's called random, because it's going to pick the random dog choice is going to randomize. So now I can have this every time. Make sense? You can add more and more. You just think about what function you're going to add. But if you're adding some external dependencies, we talk about more that on Thursday, how you can actually add an external dependency, because import string, import random, these are from the built-in Python library. You don't need external packages, so we haven't really added anything into that yet. So these are the two simple functions that we just added, and then we do the testing. But usually after you finish everything, this one is no longer needed, okay? Because this is earlier when we haven't added the function to the package yet, so we're using here. Now it's not needed anymore. Just press X on your keyboard. You can remove all of them, right? So now this is an empty notebook, and usually after you develop package, you want to add some notebooks so the users can test it out. You know, just like in the past, like you download the lab assignments, no example, you do the coding, and then you share it on the same thing. So in here, now I can do like import GOS demo, or you can just have this, for example, percentage sign pip install. Anyway, we do that next time. So for now, I just am going to do import GOS demo, okay, and then GOS demo dot generate random string. Okay, I'm going to use 10 characters. It will look like that, and I can say uppercase equal to 2. You can do this one. You can do it something like this, and I can similarly I can do a GOS demo dot generate lucky number, and then with a 3 digits. That's it. Okay, the simple notebook. Control S is done. Then you can, just like what we did in the past, you can release a new version. You can push this one. You can release one to PyPI, and then when people install, they will be able to actually do that. But at least right now, I can maybe try to. Oh, I have too many files in here. I don't want to commit all of those. I just need the intro.py, init underscore, and also GOS demo. I don't need other files. So those are files basically in the past that I added, but I don't want to commit to GitHub. Okay. If you're using GitHub to push your stuff, always make sure that you don't put any sensitive information on your notebook, on your code, because people are going to hack into your account. Okay. I made some mistake when I was a beginner a couple years ago. Like I'm using Twitter and then trying to create a Twitter bot, like using like access token, something like that. It's actually embedded in the notebook, and I didn't realize. So I pushed the stuff. There's some hackers just scan the entire GitHub database, code base, retrieve all the token, and then they hack. Once they have the token, they don't need to know your password, username. Use the token, can access to your Twitter account, and then they can post stuff on my Twitter. This is real, okay? So always be careful when you don't put sensitive information. Don't commit to the GitHub, otherwise you're gonna have trouble. So for this one here, for other changes, if for example I'm doing testing, I'm messing up some of the files, you don't want to commit, just simply hover here. There's a state changes section. So this one means I'm going to push to GitHub. This one I don't need them. You can just click this one. Basically just discard all the changes. Of course, don't discard the changes that you really want, but this is the changes that I'm going to discard all the files. You see it's gone. Right now it's clean. and this is the files I want to add to my package. So you see here, all done, right? Then I can just commit the changes, push to GitHub, then we should be good to go. And we can release a new version if we want, then people should be able to actually test it, the stuff. So I'm just going to say add two random functions. Okay, control enter, and then sync changes. I hope it works fine. Then you see it's great. I can come back to my branches, open it in Google in here. Take a look. So now I see my GeoOS demo, and look at this one. Perfect. It's in there. The functions are nice, and you can also see my notebooks. Also, usually when you push stuff to your notebook, just like some of you submit the lab assignments, and when sometimes you install a package, your notebook becomes really long. Try to clear the output. You can create the output for all of them, or you can create clear the output for a specific cell. But always remember, if you're trying to show that one to somebody, just look at that by yourself first. If it's really messy, really long, you're not going to have a good user experiences. So if it's something that you want to hide, just hide it. This one right now is fine. It's just to showcase what it. But you see, I have two empty stuff in here. I have some of the other stuff in here. You try to clean up, basically make it look professional if you want to. So think about here. This is right now. It's done. People can go online and install the package if they want. But I haven't released to PyPI yet. So sometimes you will really want to test it. For example, make sure that is the package works or not. I can open an empty Google Colab notebook and I can test it, because if you're testing on local computer, everything works fine. But when other people try out a package, this is not working, that is not working. It's very frustrating. So if you want to test it, I can test it, see if it works. So I can go to Colab, Google Colab. Just open Google Colab. You can create just an empty notebook. So I'm just going to maybe create a new notebook. And this is where you can test your package before you release, because you want to make sure that you test everything works fine before you release to other people, because otherwise when they use pip install, if you messed up, you messed up. Just like Windows, right? Release the pages all the time, people install. If you get black screen, you get blue screen, that means it's not tested well. There's so many different platforms, so many operating systems, so many different hardware configuration. You want to make sure you test it 100% works perfectly before you release. Okay, so for now I'm just going to test it. I'm using Google Colab, but you can use other computer, whatever you like. So next I'm going to show you how you can actually install this one from from GitHub, because it's not, you cannot use pip install GeoOS demo because I haven't released yet, but it's on GitHub. So what you can do is go here, click the green button, and then copy this URL. So https, copy this link, and then come back to Google Colab. So you're going to use the same thing, %, pip install git plus, okay, pip install git plus, and then control V. Let's look at this one. So git plus control V. So basically this one is doing, is going to use git, it's going to clone this one from GitHub and then install it, and then you just press control enter. So this one is not installing from a PyPI, just like pip install GeoOS demo is not. So this one allows you to install any package from any GitHub repo, even it might not have been available somewhere yet. So of course you can right now, you can try this one out. This one you can try out on your own package, or you can just try out my GeoOS demo. So this, as long as something is already on the internet, you can install it. You can do the same thing on local computer. So this one is not just for Google Colab. If you want to try it out, you can also git pip install git. You don't need the % sign if you're running it on a local computer. Okay, so the pip install git plus something. Again, it's git clone to your computer, and then it's pip install period. It's just like a shortcut. Okay, so look at this one. I just clear output. It's already installed. Now see what the magic. Okay, this is where you test it. So import GeoOS demo. It might be a little bit slow. Okay, GeoOS demo. Alt enter. and then GOS demo dot. Take a look. Do you see the two functions that I created earlier, right? And then I select from the drop down list, random string, run it. You see, works just fine. GOS demo dot generate lucky number, 5 characters. Done. So this is how you test it in different environment. Of course, you can, if you have multiple computers, you can do that. Right now, I'm just doing it manually for you to see here. Later on, I'm going to show you how you can use GitHub Actions. Basically, you don't need to even do this way. It's going to automatically test your stuff on Windows, on Mac, and also on Linux. So that makes your package work across platforms, so you don't have to worry about that. And for now, we're just working on some simple functions, but you can do many complicated and fancy stuff. But this is basically the same procedure for all the development. Okay, you create a repo, you create a package, and then you're adding stuff to your package, and then you install it, you test it locally, then you test it on other servers, and then once everything works perfectly, you release a new version, and then you push it up, and then everyone can use that, right? So this is how usually the procedure. And next, we have 10 minutes. I'm going to quickly show you to make it a little bit better. So here, right, these are two functions, but sometimes this is pretty simple, straightforward. People will be able to figure out. But if you have really complicated stuff, you need to have documentation. Otherwise, people cannot figure out like, what do I need to provide. So if you power your mouse in here, you see, hover your mouse on the function is going to show you the generate random string, and then have this. But there's no documentation. This is simple one. People figure out easily. I know it's uppercase, lowercase, but if you want to make it very detailed, then you need to add documentation within your function. Okay. So what you need to do, press enter. You see, nice. Google Copilot already figure out like I'm going to add this one, and then hit tab. Not good enough. I need to be able to explain like what each parameters mean. So essentially, this is what I want, right? So leafmap.org, and then just like this, API references, right? Common. So you see, I have a lot of functions here. For example, add image to GF animation, right? So I have the function argument. I'm also going to show you the type, what this really mean, what it's default or required, right? So the next one I'm going to show you is actually how you build this one. So later when you deploy your package, it's going to generate this one based on the documentation. So this is the one that you want to do. So come back to here, and then if you have not installed the extension, I would recommend you install it. So that one is called, I think, docstring, auto docstring. Okay, look at this one. Install this one, auto docstring. So this one help you generate the documentation based on your function definition. It's very helpful. It is the one that I use, but there might be better one. But for now, this is pretty good. So I'm going to delete this one. Once you install the extension, the package, right click, and you will see this one here, generate docstring. Okay, so see what happens. Click this one. See that? Then it's going to generate this code block, and it's going to figure out pretty nicely what you are trying to add, right? So here you're going to have summary. It doesn't know, right? This is where you can use the combination of this one and also Copilot to help you write the documentation. So I'm going to have 4 parameters here, right? You know, arguments. And this is exactly what's going to show up here on the web page later when you build it. So okay, so I'm going to come back to here and just delete this one. Okay, don't delete the 3 double quotes, just delete, and then you can just write a couple words like generate. You see, Copilot is going to help you write that. Okay, generate a random string with a given length, and this one is the description, the length. Again, usually what I did is just remove it. So this one, this template is generated by the extension. Then this is just write a couple words, right? And then Git Copilot help you automate. Finish that. So the next one, I can say whether to use uppercase letters. Okay. whether to include digits, whether to include punctuation, return type. It doesn't figure out yet, so the return type will be str. That means I'm going to return a string. Okay, so the range is string. Perfect. Control S. Nice, right? Now we have the complete documentation. Now you have a complete example of the example, the functions they add. First they want to add class, but right now this is what you exactly what you need to do. Write a function, have the parameters, finish it, and then add the documentation. You're going to have arguments, you're going to have return, you're going to have a documentation. So this is where later going to show up on when people hover the mouse on the function, it's going to show you the stuff. So this makes it very clear so that people can follow. Do the same thing like in here. Right click, generate documentation. Okay, done. And then remove it. You see, random digit number, and then I'm gonna remove this one. It's just so crazy. Okay, and the return will be int to generate the number. Control S. Perfect. Now it's done. If I want, I can test it locally here, so I can go back to my intro examples, right? So now I can import this one. I run this one again, and I can just try here and generate, okay, random strings, parentheses. Take a look at that. How nice. This is where it shows up. So if your function is well documented, people have a much easier way to follow through, because you have all documentation to explain what it needs to be. And this is how the software, all the software development, all the functions they've been calling all development is all using the same stuff. Okay, so you're welcome to try it out. And I don't need this one. I'm just going to close it. Don't save. And then again, I have made some changes here. I can say just now I can commit to GitHub. So I can say add doc strings. Okay, Control Enter, push. And then come back here, look at the, where is it? We can open this one from here. And if previously your package have already enabled the documentation, right now it should actually show up, not show up, yeah, after this one is finished, it should show up in the documentation. So the documentation is automatically built based on the documentation that are provided. It might take a couple minutes, but later on when you go to the website, for example, click here. Right now, oh, it's not here. Right now it's just GOS demo, nothing here. But once this one is finished building, it will show up. So then the documentation, you have the functions, this thing here. And the next one will show you is actually you can, we only have 5 minutes. I'm not sure you can finish, but you can add a sections to here to show the notebook that, because right now I only have the module. This was from the previous one, but how about I want to show the intro.py that I added earlier, right? I want to show you in here. You can do that as well. Let's let this one build. Let me come back to here, just show you quickly how you can add that. So the file that you need to modify is from here, mkdocs.yml, and we scroll down to the end. This is basically where the table of content for your website. So if you want to add something, for example, I want to API documentation. They say I want to add some examples that people can use. I can just maybe create a new section here. So I can come back to here, this, I say examples, and then the colon, okay, and then you hit tab to go to the next level. So this is where you want to add your example. So you can just use examples, intro.ipynb. So this is basically you're providing a file path, and later it's going to grab that one from your file. You might need to have, for now it's just using the file name. So this adds a new item, a new menu to your website, and I can just push it. So I can say, make sure you Control S, and I can say add notebook to docs. Okay, Control Enter, push. It's not finished yet, but after the website is finished building, you should, on the left side here, you should have examples, and then you have a drop down list, and then you can click the intro to that Let me see if this one is finished here. It depends on how complicated your package. Sometimes it can be take a while. Add doc strings. Yeah, it's finished. So let's come back to here. Now refresh the website. See that? On the right, do you see the string? How nice. So this is how the function is being built and how the documentation is read from the documentation. So now when the user go to your package, they're able to see, for example, what kind of function do you provide for your package, and you can look at the parameters. For example, this is the function and the definition. You can also see the length. I mean, let's look at this one, right? All the parameters is extracted exactly from documentation provide, and you can click here. They can look at the source code. So this is how you can make things reproducible, make things open, that anyone can read through and learn the source code from your package. And later on, you also provide, for example, no example. Right now, it's not coming up yet, but at least this is all the general procedure that you need to follow when you develop something. Okay, so create a repo, clone to a computer, add module, add functions, add documentation, push it back to GitHub. It's automatically built. And once you're ready, create a new version. On Thursday, I'm going to show you how to create a new version and then release it, and then it's made available to people around the globe. Right? And let's see if this one is finished. The doc string. Okay, it's done. Go back here, refresh. It might still be building. I think you need to look at the actions. So you need to wait this one. Pages build and deployment. So if you click there, once this one is done, that means your website is finished. Otherwise, you might need to wait for a couple seconds, because this one basically is building the MKDocs website, and once it's done, okay, it's just done. Then I can come back to the website, refresh. See on the left side, boom. Oh, right now it's none because it's the notebook file path examples. I show you how to fix it on Wednesday. So basically, the directory need to go to GOS demo under the docs documentation. So we need to move the folder in here into the docs website, so that it's being built. Right now, it's not available yet. I'll show you on Thursday. Okay. So that's all for today. See you on Thursday.